What's for lunch? TBBLC.
Stay in your seat.
What's for lunch today? Sausage. Brown bag, brown bag.
The Brown Bag Lunch Crew.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back. TBBLC here. I'm Curtis, alongside my co-host Drew Luster in his brand spanking new house in Gloucester, Mass. How we doing, Drew?
We're doing wonderful. That's correct. I have been, I guess, returned to my homestead probably for a month now, which is exciting, going into summer. Things are well. Glad to be back on the track here with the pod. I do have a few kind of oldie but goodie traditional things I want to do. And number one on my side is kick off what else June 5th means besides it being a Wednesday. I did a little bit of research.
Yep.
It's the national day of two things, and two things that are, I mean, as low on the totem pole on my list as you could think of. National Ketchup Day and Veggie Burger Day. Hard no on both of those things.
Yeah.
I ketchup freaks me out, never gonna like it, and veggie burgers, I'm totally fine eating meat, so it's not really my thing.
Speaking of ketchup, I cleaned my car out the other day. I had a little ketchup packet in the side door, and it exploded when I touched it because obviously the car here gets
Lava.
incredibly hot. Yeah, like over 100
Oh my
degrees.
God.
And it was just so gross. I was like, oh, this is the worst. I'm out there cleaning out the car, getting the receipts, the straw, the straw
And now there's like
wrappers, all that.
steaming ketchup in your
Yeah.
door, basically.
So I had to come back out with the wipes, and it was just a couple of trips.
Right, right. I
So
presume the ketchup was there. You
because I
get the
don't use
drive-through
it.
bag. You get the
Yeah.
drive-through bag. You paw through it a little bit. You say, "Oh,
Hmm.
there's a couple ketchup packets. I don't want these anywhere near my meal." Slip them right in the
Yeah.
door.
I think the drive-through attendant actually gave me the ketchup packets, to which I was like, I didn't want them anyways, but it was just like, I'll take them, and it
Right.
just
It's a
tossed
courtesy thing,
little
yeah.
toss down into the side door. Yeah, and my side door gets pretty built up, I would say. I'm putting
I've
a lot
seen
of
it
stuff
firsthand.
down there. Yeah,
You like to
receipts big, napkins in there probably pretty big, and then straw wrappers automatically going in there.
Yeah, what I recall from, I think it was Florida when you were driving Bill and I around, is you definitely like to store stuff in your vehicle. I'll
Yeah,
leave it at that. You really
yeah.
do like using that as a alternate form of storage, which I respect. Got to get the most out of your vehicle. So I'm all for
I'm
it.
not a big clean car guy, but I do recognize when it gets too dirty. So then I will just bring the trash bag out on the sidewalk and start dumping things in it. And fresh start. I got like three things in my back seat now. I got pickleball paddles, a tennis racket,
Okay.
and what else is in there? I got some golf balls on the floor, I think,
Maybe a beach chair?
in the box. But no, that stuff's in the trunk. So
Oh,
my
I
trunk
see.
stays relatively clean because I got the beach chair and then the golf clubs and like golf shoes. Oh, I
Yep.
got some tennis shoes in the back seat as well. But those are brand new, so they don't smell at all, which is nice. I also found a pack in my side little door of the scented trees that you hang on your
Oh yeah.
on your
Oh
dash.
yeah. Those things hit.
Polar Pines is currently what's flowing through the car, and I gotta tell you, when the car heats up in the sun, it smells delightful when you get in now.
It brings it out, especially if that's a fresh tree that's just been marinating in your car. You
Yeah,
probably popped that thing open and it was like, I
we're
don't
on
even, it
like
was just a heavenly experience, I'm
we're
sure.
on like day 4, and it brings a strong, good sense of smell once you open the door, which is great.
I
Another
think
note
that's
on
the
the
goal.
ketchup.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of that I would eat ketchup with, meatloaf. A little ketchup on the meatloaf.
Okay. You are definitely peculiar in terms of your diet. So that I guess what I'm trying to say is I've had meatloaf and I
Yeah.
know people like to put ketchup on it, and it doesn't shock me that one of those people is you, is what I'm trying to get at.
No, that's just what I think that's how my mom makes it, is it comes out with ketchup on it. So
Just is it just like
it's a
sort of
thin layer on top, a
ketchup
frosting.
is to meatloaf what frosting is to like a cupcake. Just a nice
Correct.
clean layer on the top.
Yeah, and if we're being honest, I as a kid would just scrape the ketchup off and eat the meatloaf.
Yeah, that's probably what I would still do if I had it tomorrow night.
Yeah. Yep.
So I can't knock you for that.
And what was the other one? Oh, veggie burger. Yeah, I'm not dabbling in the veggie burger. Just give me the regular burger, toss some
Have you ever
bacon
had
and
a veggie burger?
beans. No, I don't
Me
even know what
neither.
they taste like, to be honest.
They say they taste like meat, but
Is
how can
that
it
now
possibly taste like meat? Because it's not meat. You know what I mean?
Drew, is a veggie burger strictly made of vegetables? Or are we talking just not meat? Like, I don't know how
That's a
that
good question,
exactly
actually.
works.
No, that is a good question. I think if you were to go to Shaw's and look on the back, I think there's sort of a percentage breakdown, but I do think there's a significant amount of veggies in whatever form that
What
is.
kind of veggies are they using?
I don't know.
I couldn't even
That's a
think of something
question that
to
I cannot answer.
make a veggie burger. Anyways,
I'll
let's
look,
get on to the main segments, the big boys,
let's
if you will. You
let's
want to start with hate or love of the week? What are we starting with here?
let's get the hate out of the way. It's a Wednesday. Let's wipe away the negative and paint it with a positive. I can kick us off. My hate of the week is something that I never really liked, but is becoming uh, quite the pest per se around my property, and that's a skunk. There's a single skunk that for the last week, even as the sun is setting, like I would still consider it light out, and he's walking around like he owns the entire building, and it's not. I don't love it. He's spraying every, bi-daily, probably every other day. I'm laying in bed, I have to smell it. I just want him gone. And I know it's early, it's only June 5th. I got a long battle ahead this summer.
Yeah,
But so far, he's probably up 2 games to none. If we're talking a 7 game series, and mentally, I bet he's up 2 games to none going back home. I need to make a statement this next week and either do something myself or call pest control. That's where I'm at. I don't, because I know
yeah.
what's going to happen. I'm going to get sprayed. And
The summer
that would be my
months,
nightmare.
the summer months is when you see them a lot back home, and
Yeah.
that's tough because you're like you said. I mean, we're in the first 2 weeks of summer back in
Yeah. It's just gotten
Massachusetts.
started.
So you got like a good 90 days left in terms of what you're looking at for skunk season.
Yeah.
Never been sprayed by a skunk. What's your go-to method if you
Knock
were to
on
get
wood.
sprayed in terms
I,
of the like
yeah.
tomato bath or tomato sauce bath? I don't know
So
any
I
other
know
ones.
that was a popular one back in the day. Like as kids, they would like that was the thing that you heard that you had to do
Yeah.
if you got sprayed. I got to be honest, I'm sure that there are more modern, dare I say, normal things that you can do than bathing cat or tomato sauce. But I would still
Yeah.
do it if I had to, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sure there's some sort of cream or spray or body wash that you can use nowadays. It's 2024. I hope so, at least for my own sake.
Yep.
Knock on wood. But if I had to lay in a tub of tomato sauce, I would. It's a wretched, wretched smell, and I know it's a nagging smell as well. So I would do whatever I needed to do, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I like that hate. My number one hate that I got on my list here is medication stuff. Like in the bottle, you know
Okay.
how they have those little cylindrical plastic things that I don't know what they do in the bottle. I think it's to keep everything like dry and
Oh yeah, it's like what they put
suck
in
up any
packages almost.
moisture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, when you open the medication bottle and you got the little tin foil on the top, so you're
Yeah,
obviously trying to get as
yeah.
much space as you can, then you go to dump one out and the freaking plastic thing keeps getting jammed and stuck at the
It's at
top.
the top. It's clogging everything. Yeah.
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 So then I end up taking them out anyways. I just force it out because I'm like, I can't deal with this every day in terms of me trying to get, my daily little pill out of this. And this
Right.
goddamn plastic thing keeps blocking me. It's stuffing me like Hakeem Olajuwon, just batting me down.
Like what's crazy is wouldn't you think that the medical industry would want to make it easier on you to take medication?
Why
Like
isn't it smaller? Why is it the
why are they
exact
making
size of the hole?
Why are they making you have to like work for it and like making you feel like you can't like, do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's crazy to me.
And they have the other little, they almost look like Zins, to be honest, that go in the medication as well.
Yes. Yes. I
And
know.
I don't know
That's what I
why
thought you were
that's
talking
not
about
in
at
there.
first.
And
So you're
then
talking about something different than the rectangular kind of powdery thing that soaks up.
I'm talking, this is a cylinder, as if they made it the exact size of the hole when you punch through the tinfoil. So you really have to like force this thing out of the bottle to get
Yeah,
it
yeah,
out
yeah.
in order to just have a normal daily life of dumping one pillow into your hand rather than battling with this linebacker that's sitting in the A gap.
Oh my God. I gotta be honest, I like in recent memory, I can't come up with me ever having to experience that, but I can imagine based on your explanation that that is like just a miserable time every time you try to take your medication, which isn't fun already.
I get to the point of I just take it out immediately when I crack open the new bottle. There's usually
Right.
two of them in there, so I'll get the first one out immediately because it's sitting at the top, and then the second one that might come out 10 days later if there's a little layer of pills above that.
Yep.
Second one, I'll double up on you here.
Do it.
The golf course recently changed out some pro shop staff at the Navy Marine golf course in Hawaii.
Okay,
And
I'm curious where this is going.
yeah, the new pro shop staff, not my favorite. I get there for a tea
That is
time.
such a Larry David like opening line. I I can't wait to hear this. Go ahead.
So I get there 15 minutes early. That's usually the cutoff of like, hey, we'd like you to get there 15 minutes early, check in, that way you can warm up, yada yada yada. I don't warm up, I don't hit balls because I don't want to spend another like $5 to $10. And plus, I'm just not giving myself 30 minutes to an hour to like
Right, of
add
lag
on
time.
to my golf round of a 4 hour round anyways. So I get there 15 minutes early, go in, pay. The guy's already given me grief. He's like, "Oh, you're supposed to be here 20 minutes early. Why is nobody in your group here?" And I'm like, "Man, all I can do is tell you that I am here 15 minutes early. I'm paying for my 18 holes of golf."
Yep.
So I check in, not a pleasant experience to say the least, because I wanted to be like, traffic, like any variety of issues, like could have had a medical appointment, could have been dealing with family, whatever. And this guy's hounded me over 5 minutes, and I'm still paying him, $50+ to play this golf course where, like, I just don't need that grief from this retiree who's working the front desk at the pro shop.
Oh my God.
So my buddy gets there, Ahmed. He's there like 10 minutes early,
Yeah.
pays, probably gets the same spiel. We were supposed to have a third guy, one of our other coworkers, JT. JT was just coming off night shift, and what we figured happened was what did happen. He slept right through. Like he was
Did
not even close to making like a 9:30 or a 10:30 tea
oh
time,
my
whatever we
God.
had, because he just slept till
Knocked
like
out.
2 p.m. or something that day. Well, we're sitting there waiting to go to the tee, only a twosome now. And the guy comes out and
Oh no.
starts yelling at us, where's your other buddy? I'm like, yeah, I can't tell you. Like I texted him, I called him, he's not answering. And he gives me, so what does that mean? And I'm like, I wanted to give him the Seinfeld, the Elaine, whatever the hell you think it means.
Right.
Um, like what a he's not answering. He's probably not coming. Like, can you use a little
Right.
common sense as to
Yeah.
figuring the situation out? He's like, well, I guess you guys are just gonna have to go off. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured that out about 15 minutes ago when I checked
Kind of
in and
assume
nobody was
that.
here. Like
Right.
I paid money to play the golf course. So I think my whole thing is it's kind of like the doctor's office, right? We've had this discussion many times. Why are they bringing me into the room at the time of my appointment only to wait 30 minutes to actually see the doctor?
Yep.
Why does it matter if I get there 3 minutes early, but I pay and I'm on the first tee during my tee time
It
versus
doesn't.
if I get there 20 minutes early? Like, listen, we're not running a
Right.
prison over here. Like,
No.
I'm trying to enjoy my off time that I am not working. And the new pro shop staff, I have to say, hate of the week.
That's fantastic. I guess my first question is, did you recognize any of these people who had been around before, and had you ever experienced anything like that prior?
So no, the old pro shop staff, they ended up moving to another military golf course because they like, rotate around kind of. And
Okay.
I would debatably say that's one of the worst courses to work at because it's so busy. So if you like really busy, like you're gonna see a lot of people throughout the day. But I think they get paid the same no matter what. So like why not go to kind of a more chill, like less
Right.
people golf course?
Yeah. Laid back. Yeah.
The like 3 to 4 other guys who worked there were awesome. Like I had multiple times shown up there like 5 minutes before and been like, here's my money. I know my tee's on, my partners are on the tee. Like I'm gonna go out and play. And they like occasionally somebody be like, next time try to get here, 15 minutes early, whatever. I'm like, yep, sounds good. Sometimes it's just not gonna happen.
No.
But
Yeah.
there was an animosity this guy had towards the entire group like once I checked in 15 minutes early to the tea time.
And
And
he
then
didn't see anyone else.
just
Yeah.
the well, you guys are gonna have to tee like no kidding we're gonna have to tee off as a twosome. I don't know what to tell you. Like and this is true. This is on a Tuesday morning at like 9:30 to 10:30, somewhere in that range. So we're not
Right.
holding anybody up. There's
No.
nobody on the golf course. And it's just like, why are you hassling me?
Right. If it's a Saturday at 10:30 and it's 75 out and there's the entire
10
tee
groups
sheet is
on the
full,
tee.
okay.
Yeah.
I can see where you would be a little bit stressed in regards to timing. But
Yeah.
on a Tuesday morning when there's no one ahead or behind you, who gives a shit if you tee off 2 minutes after or 2 minutes before your tee time? You already paid.
Yeah.
Like I understand at some courses, like right, you'll book the foursome thinking that
Mhm.
someone's gonna show up, and then like they charge you online or whatever it is. Like I get it in that case,
Yeah.
but if you only indicated you were paying for yourself, so why does it matter if he shows up or he doesn't? Like it's a Tuesday morning, you weren't gonna fill that spot anyways. There's no one
Yes.
chomping at the bit, waiting
Yeah.
for to jump in as a single, you know?
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
yeah, that's
You
whack.
have another hate? Because I have a long list. It's been a while.
It has. I haven't been very
Vengeful.
hateful, vengeful lately. So that was really
Yeah.
my only big one that battle that I'm dealing with. So I will gladly give you the floor because you're on a roll right now.
All right. We played pickleball this weekend. Sunday after our mid shifts, our night shift, we get off and we're like, we wanted to stay up because I switched back to day shift come Monday anyways. So we go play pickleball around 9 a.m. We get to the courts, they're absolutely packed. There's like not a kayaking, a canoe boat race going on. So like parking's insane. But then there's also just, I would say 15 courts probably worth of pickleball courts filled
Hmm.
by like a bunch of people. So we're sitting there waiting and we see that one of the courts opens up. So we're like, oh, we're gonna go walk out there and grab that because we have like 10 people coming and we'll just like swap games in and out. Well, the group that was adjacent to that one told us, oh, we have 20 people coming, so that's our court. Like we're holding that court. And it's just
Oh
like
boy. Oh
this
boy.
this really started the whole, and luckily, I think for the entire, Kihi Lagoon pickleball community down there, that I was not the spokesperson of this interaction. Uh, because you know me, I have a shorter fuse when it comes to
I
this sort of stuff.
I feel sorry
They
for whoever that person is if you were the one to respond. I feel bad for them.
Yeah. So my buddy is just like, no worries. So we ended up waiting for another court. This court then opens up again basically because whoever they originally had in their group had left and they were so we send our folks, our liaisons back over, like our ambassadors, shall I say. Uh and they get the same answer basically.
Oh my God.
And it's just like it really ticked me off to the pickleball community in and of itself. I'm skeptical of to start, right? I think most people are skeptical of it to start because it's like it's miniature tennis, it's an activity that isn't like too stressful on the body and what I would claim is not really an athletic event, right? So if you're acting all posh when it comes to like, it's legitimately, Drew, a public court. It's in like a public park, which
Yeah.
I don't think you should be able to like hold, let alone like get a waiver from the city or whatever. I
Unless
don't
there's a
care if you have like a
reservation
league.
system, right? Unless there's a reservation system
Yeah,
of some sort. Okay, that's one thing. And it's like you're at like the golf simulator, right? And someone
yeah,
has reserved the bay, already paid. They're just not
yep,
there yet. If this is a public place, it immediately brought me to the okay, like when I was little, my like if my mom said, "Hey, go stand in that spot while I turn around,"
yeah,
it's like that mortifies me. Like it isn't your spot if you're not there to get it.
correct.
That's
And
what I'm gonna leave it at.
there was a de facto ruler of this court, which I didn't like. It's a public court. I don't want to listen to your spiel about how, half the courts are for, I forget what they call it, but basically it's like paddle stacking group play, and then half the courts are like, oh, you just own that court. But that day seemed like it was all you just had to own one court and then like bring as many people as you want on that, which is just BS to me because say my adjacent comparison to this is say you show up to the golf course, you're a single and you just want to get on whenever. Like if there's another threesome on the tee and that's the only threesome for the rest of the day, it would be like that threesome saying, no, we're not allowing you to play with us.
Right.
And it's like, no, it's a public golf course. Like, even if it was a
You
private
can't.
golf course, it's like, hey, you paid money. The pro shop owns the tee times in the course basically to
Hmm.
make more money. Like, we're sending this person out with you. So that's, I guess, I don't want to say the whole pickleball community because I don't think that's what happened here. Uh, it was a lack of
One
aloha,
bad
as they'd
apple. One bad
say.
apple. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very not aloha for Hawaii, and that really ticked me off on a Sunday morning.
I just think it's unnecessary. Anyone, respectfully, anyone who's like that, I cannot be a fan of. They just think that everything, the world revolves around them, to put it in a cliche manner. Those are
Yep.
not my favorite people. And that person is very, very lucky that you were not the liaison for the group because I think it would have been a much tougher Sunday for them.
We would have had a legal battle on our hands, Like,
You may have.
what do you mean you can hold this court? You can't hold this court. Uh,
Oh my
my
goodness.
next one, don't worry, I still got some more. You know the gym has the little wipes that come out of the canisters, the little pulley
To
wipes.
clean the machines,
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah.
Is there anything worse than the when you go up there and you got to take one out that's been like three-quarters exposed and there's no moisture in it?
80% of it's dry because it's been sitting
Yeah.
in like the air for
So you have to
45
grab
minutes.
two. Like
Yeah,
every time I go up to one of these, I'm grabbing two. And
it's
at that
dry
point, I'm just like, why don't we have the spray bottles and the regular paper towels? Like, what are we doing with the cleaning
with
wipes?
the
They don't
machine. Yeah,
work.
or with the bottles. Yeah,
Yeah. That was
that's
just
tough.
that's my little hate of the week. That one's been
So
simmering for a while.
I thought you were gonna say when you
People who
go to
don't
grab
wipe
a
it down.
wipe, no, when you go to grab a wipe and like four come with you. Because there's
No.
usually those little teeth that are supposed to catch
Yeah.
it, the loose area. And
Yep.
sometimes I maybe it's me, maybe I'm too casually pulling them. I'm not really just snapping them off.
Oh, I'm using
But
two hands and
no,
finding the little
usually I'm just
seam
nilly willy one hand just dragging it out. Maybe that's why I'm catching four or five.
right
Like
over the shoulder.
I'm not doing enough working out to need to clean five machines. So I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That's just a quite literally a very simple one for me.
I
I
respect that though.
I do think that is it for my hates of the week. So I think we can move on to loves, and I'll hand the floor over to you since I've been talking a little bit.
Sounds good. My love of the week is something very simple, but it's just grill season. I got to grill out back. There's nothing more convenient, first off. And then second of all, maybe this is just like, the placebo effect or whatever in the honeymoon stage of owning a grill, but everything tastes better on a grill. Whether it's the
Yeah.
chicken, the burgers, hot dogs, you can try to pull it off in like a skillet or like cast iron is what I would typically do.
Yep.
But there's nothing like that grill taste in
No.
vibe that you get with like the cross burn and everything.
Yep.
And you don't have to
Can I
clean
tell you
dishes.
why?
It's money.
That's exactly the point. There is no cleanup. It's just scrape the top of the grill, let
Hell
the
yeah.
rest of it burn off. There's no, I gotta go, clean the skillet, your cast iron pans, make sure it's seasoned or whatever
Mm-hmm.
else that BS is. There's, it's nothing. Like you could grab some Syrian bread and just wrap it up off the grill, eat the linguiça, and you're done. There's not even plates, there's not even utensils. Like you might need a
Doesn't have
napkin,
to be.
and
I
that's
would
it.
say rarely, yeah, rarely with grill food too. There's a ton of utensils going into it, whether it's
Yes.
a says eats, burger, dog, maybe some chicken or steak tips, but for the most
Yeah.
part, it's easy. And that's why I like it, the convenience factor. It's a
I'll tell you
beautiful
what,
thing.
the chicken is so much easier on the grill. I do dabble in the oven chicken right now because I don't have
Yeah.
a grill. And it's just sad. It's a sad looking piece of chicken when it comes out of the oven. There's no sear marks or anything. I'm not putting it
Yeah.
in the skillet to burn it up. I'm just eating it like that. And
So
it just
just no
looks
skin.
it looks
Yeah.
pale. Yeah, it looks pale.
Yeah. Lifeless.
Yeah, pretty much. It's more of a at that point it's like a sustenance thing versus like I'm actually enjoying this chicken.
It's like feeding a dog or cat the same food for a year. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
there's no enjoyment in it. Like to your point, it's just for sustenance and for food, which is sad, but I respect your honesty.
And I'm not a big chef in the kitchen, so the grill is like it's kind of like a cane or a crutch that I lean on
Yeah.
because it opens up a variety of things you can do in terms of the meats. Like there's a wide selection versus if I'm cooking something in the oven, because I'm not doing a lot of stovetop stuff, then it just leaves me at like steak and chicken basically, which is it's not great.
I agree. So I think back to like when you were in Florida, I'd get the FaceTime and it's just you chilling by the grill in that middle. They had
Yeah.
that little lawn area
Enclave.
with the pool and everything. Yeah. And I feel like more often than not, after your shift, you were chilling out there, maybe listening to a little bit of music, grilling some meats,
Yeah. And
and
I could do a couple meals on the grill. I feel like it's harder to do that in terms of meal prepping multiple
right, like
meals.
planning out a week or it's like, hey, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have,
It's
yeah,
like I can rip a, 6 to 8 strips of chicken if I really wanted to on the grill.
right.
Whereas I'm probably only doing a couple of chicken breasts in the oven.
Yeah. It's not, it doesn't pack the same punch. I agree.
Yep. All right. I'll toss one of my loves at you here. I used some airline or some credit card points for a
Oh
couple
yeah.
of upcoming airline tickets, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I paid a total of $156 for 2 round trips to the East Coast from here, which felt just glorious in terms of saving money. Like realistically, I could have used that on paying back any sort of the credit card bill at any point while I was building it up. You
Yeah.
don't get as much out of your points. So like it's a 1-to-1 ratio when you use it for particularly airlines on the Amex. And then Chase Sapphire, the other card I've been using, that is like a beast of a card. Reverse sponsorship here,
Yeah.
even though I already got it. But they give you like 25% additional points if you're booking, some sort of airline ticket or whatever
Yeah.
for travel. So that one I only spent like I want to say like 49,000 points, and I got a round trip to Boston. So that's my July coming home kind of dates.
Huge.
And then my Amex, I spent like 100,000 points to JFK for Rick's wedding.
Yeah.
Um, so that one was more of a 1-to-1 because that one was a little more expensive just based on the time frame. But the Chase Sapphire was like, this is incredible. I got, the extra 25% for the $700 ticket and only had to use 49,000. So I still have like 24,000 points on that one, which is
Yeah.
great. But yeah, just the feeling of savings, of getting one over on the airline somewhat because there's no worse. Well, I can't say there's no worse industry because right now the medical industry is on my hate list for
Oh,
sure. But the airlines, like nothing goes right with the airlines. And then now, I got to roll this into a little Delta hate actually because I just booked both tickets with them. Their new thing this year that they took away is any
yeah.
basic economy flights, which is as you know, all I fly, because I'm not gonna book anything else, because guess what? All the seats suck. It doesn't matter
Yep.
if you sit basic economy, main cabin or whatever. I'm still getting a main cabin seat. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But they took away, starting in January, I cannot use the Delta Sky Club anymore if I only have a basic economy ticket with my Amex Platinum,
They backed you out of there?
which is gonna rile me up, Drew. And they don't even think I won't be going up there trying to sneak in with my basic economy ticket.
They tried to back you out of there. You
They
were
did.
you were at the forefront of
I'm an
promoting.
aficionado of the Delta Sky
Right.
Club.
That is
Insane.
that's
So
a bad PR move by
bad
them.
PR move. You're gonna have a lot of upset military on your hands because man, we like to run that place. Second of all, basic economy flights, which might have happened like a little while back, but I just realized it. You don't get sky miles for it. So my big trips, like from Honolulu to the East Coast, I'm getting no sky miles for, basically because I'm booking the cheapest ticket, obviously. Uh, and I just think that's just wrong. If we're being honest, like there there's so many delays, there's so many cancellations, and I'm paying over $700 for like an airline ticket, no matter what, flying from here to go to the East Coast. And you're telling me I don't get any sky miles for that because I'm booking the cheapest one? Like I have to book a main cabin, which is $200 more no matter what,
Right.
just to get sky miles. Like the bang for the buck ain't there, so I'm not doing it.
It's not worth there's the value isn't there if you're
But
forcing
it's
an
just
upgrade on
like
your hands.
they're squeezing every little ounce out of us before we implode. And that's what it's going to come to, is I'm going to have to swear off all airlines and start traveling by car when I get back home.
I think there's a perfect marketing opportunity for us to come up with the plane or the airline that is cheaper and less quality than Spirit, which
Yep.
was, if you recall, I'll remind you, there
Hey, I used to be a Spirit stockholder when they
you
were
did
announcing their merge, and that didn't go too well.
Sh Shadow Spirit,
Yeah.
reverse Shadow Spirit. Anywho, if you recall, what we did was we basically tore apart everything about the airplane. We
I
basically
think
had
we take
first.
the seats out.
I was
Gone.
gonna get to that. I think first class may have been like you get to sit in a seat, and other than that, it was like you were on the MBTA. You were holding on to either the rubber handle
Yeah.
or children and elderly were being Velcroed to the wall
Yeah.
in a non, aggressive fashion. So,
I mean, I
like,
think
say you
it.
can get on for $8, $9. Think
Mhm.
about that. We're completely undercutting the entire industry. And I know, that there's people out there who are willing and able to do that.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't know safety wise with the FAA if we can get away with that. But I think there's just room for like an airline that basically says, yeah, if we delay your flight for more than 4 hours, I don't care what the law is. We're gonna give you the entire refund back.
Yeah.
If we cancel your flight, we're gonna pay for, hotel, meal, rental car, like whatever you use that night. Uh, to like stay alive basically and get back
Yeah.
to the airport in the morning,
Right.
and then just undercut all the other BS. Like, we're not going to charge you for a seat. There's going to be a flat rate for a seat. There's none of this, oh, I got to book my ticket. And then it's, hey, you won't get your seat until you get to the freaking, register, basically.
Right. Yeah. The desk.
It's no, this is your seat. This is the seat you're paying for. No fees, no baggage fees. Just check in. I don't care how many bags you want to check in. Check in as many bags as you want.
Check-in 50.
Yeah, because guess what? Half the people aren't bringing more than a bag. Like if you're traveling, you're not willingly saying I want to bring more baggage. Nobody is
No,
doing that.
no.
Zero people.
Would would you almost compare that to like if a company says like, oh, we have unlimited PTO? It's like the trick, right? Have you ever read about like that
Yeah.
mind trick on LinkedIn where that actually makes you take less PTO because you're like, oh, I don't want to go over the
Yeah.
top and abuse it. It's almost the
Yes.
same thing where we're saying bring whatever the hell you want. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's going to be no grenades, poisons,
Well,
gases,
yeah, yeah.
weaponry, etc.
Legally.
Because we need to still remain legally compliant, that is. But bring anything else you want. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't
If it
matter to
fits,
me.
hey, listen, if it fits in the cargo door, it's going on the plane.
I love that motto. That should be that's the commercial right there. That's the way.
The
If
tagline.
it fits through the door, it's coming on the plane.
Yeah,
Boom. Period.
yeah. There's just room, like, and I keep seeing the news headlines. They're trying to go more towards like the European model, and then like I guess the detractors from the argument say like, oh, but look at the European airlines, like they're all crashing and burning, or their profit margins aren't as good as the US's. Second argument, the profit margins aren't as good. I don't care. The airline industry is not supposed to be like screw every single American citizen or tourist that's flying into America. It's legitimately like a government business. They were supplemented during COVID by the government, millions upon potentially up to like $1 billion worth of aid to keep them running and make sure they stayed alive. Like, let's not get into, oh, we're concerned Delta's not making enough of a profit margin now. No, screw them. I want every refund. I want every delay. I want every cancellation. I want a full taxable report from them.
This is amazing. This is the most you thing I've ever heard. I agree. I mean, I it's almost sad because the norm now is like, you get delayed a couple hours. That's kind of like I don't want to say expected, but no one's really saying, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, I would have never expected that
How
that'll happen."
Listen, how is there not a portion of the profit there in the ticket that says we have to give this person $50 back because we were delayed 2.5 hours? In the European model, I think it's anything more than 4 hours is like a full refund. I get we're probably not ever going to get there because there's too many lobby airlines that will never allow that to happen, slash capitalism, blah, blah, blah. But I don't understand how there's not like a step ladder basically saying this plane did not get off the ground until 2.5 hours after, which
Right.
means, I don't know, free baggage, free whatever, like something. They
Yep.
don't give you anything. They just smile and say, we're sorry we got off the ground so late. We'll make it as quick as possible as we can there. And it's like, that's not what I paid for. That is strictly not what I paid for when I paid $750 to get from Honolulu to Boston. I paid to get here
Preach.
at 6:15. I didn't pay to get here at 10:30 the next day.
Right. It's a different flight. That's a cheaper flight.
Yeah. Yep. And
They're stealing from you.
it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But yeah, that's I did have a love of the week in there. That ended up being a hate of the month probably.
Of course. That's how
But
it goes.
you got some more loves?
I'm keeping it simple today, though. I had my two staples that I wanted to lean on, and I did.
Oh, more along the airline
Oh my
talk we just
gosh.
had. So I had like a 10-hour layover in LA. It was only supposed to be 5 hours. Plane gets delayed 5 hours, whatever. Good thing was Jordan and Stone live in LA. So I
Yep.
had Jordan come pick me up. She's like 10 minutes from the airport. It probably took us 30 minutes to get back home. But I had myself a little LA day. We went to Venice Beach. I walked around Venice Beach, took some pictures. We drove through, all the little towns that are along LA. Um, and just a nice little, if it wasn't for that, like imagine a 5 hour layover in LAX. Like I
No.
would have been in the lounge anyways. I would have been in the Centurion lounge. They haven't kicked us out of that one yet. Uh, but that would have stunk to be there for like 10 hours of the day. So it made it like another vacation day almost after the
Yeah.
bachelor party trip in Arizona.
Good change of scenery. Get outside, get some fresh air. You're not just,
Got some
I mean,
food.
granted, the lounge is probably better than just sitting in one of those rows of chairs, but at the very least, you're not just rotting in the airport for 5 hours just waiting around.
Yep. Yep. So it made for a good day. Shout out Jordan for picking me up. I got to see the goon as well. The goon seemed
Love
to
it.
have remembered me, which was nice.
That is
And
always nice, isn't it?
yeah, it was great. And yeah, Venice Beach was kind of cool. It's it's an interesting spot because like we went kind of towards sunset, like the sun over the cliffs and the water is insane, like so sick looking. And then it has like it's almost like a downtown area. There's like some sewage smells that randomly pop up. Um, it's not the cleanest like piece of sidewalk beach you've ever seen.
Yep.
It's kind
Yep.
of like Fiesta. It's a little like Fiesta, you know.
Okay.
There's
All
some
right.
real there's some real great parts of Fiesta in terms
Sure.
of like the area, and then you get into like
Into
there's
the
some
nitty
runoff,
gritty,
there's some
into the
sewage
hot.
over there, you know.
Yeah.
This is not the lightest corner of the bunch out of the
Yeah.
whole crowd.
I feel
But
you.
yeah, so that was a good day in terms of I've never been to LA, got a little taste of it in, and I don't think I need any more.
So be it.
I'm trying to think if I have any other loves of the week. Oh, Arizona bachelor party, Rick's bachelor party. Went to
Yeah.
Scottsdale. Never been to Arizona before. We also hit up Phoenix. We hit up a Diamondbacks game.
That's sick.
Diamondbacks Stadium, retractable roof. So it was kind of a midday game. It was like a 5 p.m.er. And they had the roof closed, thankfully, because it was sweltering out.
Yep.
And they also have a DraftKings sports book on campus, like right
That's
outside the
sick.
stadium, which was fantastic. We had a good time. Hopped in there for the Bruins game that was going on right
Yep.
after. Bruins won OT pasta scoring,
Oh,
if
that's
you remember
electric.
that one. A
I do.
couple of the fellas might have had pasta OT scoring taken in the third period that paid out quite a
Oh,
chunk of
that's
change.
unbelievable.
So we were having a grand old time. We watched some of the UFC fights in there. And then like that whole kind of area with the stadium is awesome. So they have a trolley that runs like right down through there. I assume they have a stop right at the stadium. We didn't use it. But then there's this like lined street of bars that are just like spraying water on the outside to keep everybody cool on the sidewalk.
Like the
And
misters, sort
the
of. Yeah.
misters, yeah. And then the bars are kind of like outward facing, so it's not really a go in place. It's more of like if there's a bar kind of on the street practically, which was pretty
Okay.
cool. There's another FanDuel sports book down the other side of the street.
Oh,
So
that's deadly. That is so deadly.
listen, there's a lot happening in Phoenix, and then Scottsdale was fantastic. The weather in late or early May when we went was great. I would say it was 85 to 95, but it's a dry heat. It's not a humid heat. And I never played a Scottsdale golf course or an Arizona golf course for that matter. And like elevation, the ball does fly a lot farther, and the courses were awesome. Like desert golf is a lot of fun.
I've only ever seen the picture and videos, but it looks sick.
Yeah, we had a quite the few drinks on the course. We had 3 days of fun.
Oh.
Needless to say, the last day I was in a bit of recovery mode.
You were hashtag legless.
Yes. Yeah. No legs, Cotton. No legs. What else you got? Anything? I'm done. I'm out of my hates. I'm out of my loves. That's all I have had pent up for a couple of months now. I've been jotting them down on the phone.
I have no other hates or loves. I do have a classic dad joke of the week, if you want me to rip it.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. This is one I dug for today. I admittedly am losing track of what we've done before, but I think this one is going to be a nice fresh one for you.
Okay.
All right, here goes nothing. Why can't a leopard hide?
We get spotted.
Bang.
Is that actually it?
The verbatim answer is because he is always spotted. But I'll easily give you that. It's this
Okay.
you had the word.
That's pretty good from me. Pretty
Pretty good
good.
after hiatus to hit a half court three like that out of nowhere. I respect that.
Yeah. Fade
Good for
away.
you. Back on it.
I got some other things that, we were discussing today. Me and my buddy Ahmed, we went on a hike, just shooting the shit. We were talking about things that don't make sense in terms of pricing. If that
Okay.
rings any bells for you, I'll give you a couple that I was talking to him about.
Yep.
Uh Shampoo. I think I've had the same shampoo bottle potentially for like a year and a half. And I think I probably only paid like $12 for it, if we're being honest. Head and Shoulders shampoo and conditioner.
Yep.
I don't understand how I can pay $12 for something that's going to last me a year and a half. And then I go to like a restaurant here or a convenience store and I get a Gatorade for like $4.79. That just doesn't add up to me in terms of the value that I'm getting out of it.
So you're comparing the two things, which is interesting.
Yeah,
You're
yeah. I'm just
compare
saying, like, general grocery store items. Here's another one: trash bags. I think I've had the same roll of trash bags for over a year as well. And I think I only paid
do you
like,
never put out trash?
no, I do. Drew, I would say I put it out like a week or every week or two. I would say every week,
Okay.
to be honest, in terms of like me filling it up and
That's a
then just taking it out.
How many trash
And
bags do you have?
I don't know. That's the thing, is like I don't know really how many I bought, but it hasn't run out, and it seems like I didn't pay that much for it. Like maybe I paid $20, but like if I'm paying $20 and that's lasting me a year, year and a half,
Right.
that's insane value. But then you have other things at the grocery store, like TP during COVID, that was like skyrocketing in price, and I think really has held in terms of like it costs me like $24 a bundle now, and you're just like
Yeah.
that stuff's gone in a week and a half.
I was gonna say the papers are like paper towels, n napkins, toilet
Yeah,
paper. You would be shocked. You would be absolutely shocked. Um, I'm trying to think of other ones that have just been popping up lately. You know what's interesting to me is the disparity in meat price from grocery store.
like
That's what I'm
store to
gonna say.
store.
Yeah, like in the same town, like I'm talking a
Okay.
mile away. Like
Yeah.
I guess off the top of my head, what I would say is Market Basket, if you go and get the same like thin sliced chicken breast, right?
Yeah.
It'll be like $3.50. Then you go to like Stop and Shop in East Gloucester or Shaw's, and it's probably like six or $7. Which when we're talking dollars, that's kind of significant. And it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. It's
I
a
mean,
shame that
if
Market
you're
Basket is so
talking
chaotic because I
if you're
want to
talking
go there
stock
more.
price or like between that, that's 100% increase right there.
Yeah. It can be pretty drastic is what I've found between Market Basket and other, Shaw, Stop and Shop, whatever it may be. It's pretty crazy. I was gonna say it's a shame that I don't enjoy going to Market Basket more to get the deals because it is a absolute war zone every time you go in there. You got to buckle up and you have to go in knowing that you're probably going to spend 10 to 12 minutes just talking to people that you run into. You might as well be at church or be
Yes,
down the old high school football game. You're going to see everybody you know, if you know what I'm saying.
that
It's
is true.
nuts.
That I don't have to worry about that because here I'm just head down and I don't know anybody, so that's kind of nice.
It is. You can
And
fly through.
I toss usually the AirPods in. I'm listening to a podcast, and it's like self checkout half the time, anyways. So I don't
That
have
sounds very
to
therapeutic and
interact
calming.
much. It's kind of calming. And
Yeah,
I don't do the big grocery store trips anymore because the electricity goes out here relatively a normal or a higher than normal amount of times. So I don't want to waste a ton of food in the fridge if I just went
right.
and spent like $120. So I'm like prodding, getting 3, 4 days worth of food. That way, if it does go out for more than 4 hours, then I'm all set in terms of like losing a couple yogurts and milk.
Can I ask why it goes out so much? Does this have something to do with like earthquakes and seismic shifts in the mountains and volcanoes?
Not really. No. I think there's just a lack of power to go around the entire island. So
Okay,
it might have to do with they only have like a couple of electrical plants, so maybe they would need more because I think they shut one down. Um, Maybe a reliance on solar. So if it's like cloudy type of deal for a couple of
right.
days, they're not getting as much. And then I think it's like older infrastructure because you don't see any like underground electrical wires, like everything's kind of old wooden telephone pole type of style that's looking
Yep,
pretty raggedy
pretty
hanging over the
bleak.
street. You're like, that's got a lot of
That's gonna
sag in
go.
it. I don't know if
That's gonna
that
go
one's holding
someday.
up. And yeah, if it goes out on like the main road, that's gonna cut power to all the valleys, and then they gotta
Wow.
go fix it like one by one type of deal. So I don't
Jeez.
know if there's any, and like it is legitimately windy almost all the time. So it's if they get kind of a little storm or something going, it's pretty easy to knock out a couple of wires.
Wow. I didn't know that, but that sucks. But it's good to know. Fun fact.
Fun fact about Hawaii, yes. I got one little segment I got to go on a rant about. Here's my rant of the week. I don't understand the Champions Tour. The PGA Tour Champions, I think it's anybody over 50. There's like requirements in terms of you had to have 2 or 3 PGA Tour wins to like be automatically, eligible and in. And then
Yep.
there's other qualifying things that folks who didn't play on the PGA Tour can still play. Listen, if they're going out there and it's more like an amateur event where nobody's getting paid money and it's all for fun and whoever watches that, like, go ahead. But I don't understand the crowd that is watching these events. Like, they're getting paid millions of dollars in purses, like total purses I'm talking about. So they're probably not making, like $1 million an event, but maybe on the majors they do. But I don't know anybody, even like people who are over 50, 60 years old who are watching this tour
Yep.
to bring money in for it. And that, to my point, kind of goes into the PGA Tour LIV stuff where we're wasting resources, like valuable money resources and the human capital in terms of like viewers and piquing interest for the PGA Tour by just having this like horrible old product of guys who are not able to play on the PGA Tour anymore, out of their prime. Nobody cares about. Like, not to be harsh, but nobody cares about, and they
Washed up.
shouldn't,
Yeah,
because
not really
think
relevant
of
at that point in their career.
what other professional sports league has just a retiree league where they're like getting bankrolled hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep doing what they did professionally but aren't good enough to play on the normal professional tour anymore. There's none
Right.
that I
It
know
doesn't
of.
exist. Doesn't exist that I'm aware of.
So I think my rant of the week is get rid of the Champions Tour, focus on making your product better on the PGA Tour and bringing in viewers to that by not diluting your product. Also, I think the LPGA has a case of like on Golf Channel all the time, the Champions Tour is on. And I like it doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't have the big LPGA tourneys on because I would 1000% watch that over a Champions Tour event. Like if Nelly Korda is going to try to win her 8th event in a row
Right.
versus Fred Funk on the Champions Tour, hasn't won in 25 years. And guess
Right.
what? He's T3 and he's coming down the stretch right now. Like, sorry, Fred, I'm not going to tune in.
No. I've
It's crazy. It's crazy to me. And
It is.
they have
When you
like
put
an
it that way,
issue.
it is.
They have an issue in terms of money, obviously, to compete against Live. And they're just like seemingly throwing away sponsorships, throwing away even courses to go to, and just TV coverage time that they have on their network, Golf Channel, to these guys who nobody cares about anymore.
I feel it. I'm not as
That's all
privy
I
to that
got.
as you are. I will say it does feel like even without that recommended promotion that you're giving, that the LPGA is gaining more traction. So I agree. Why not throw it up in the limelight instead of watching these washed up guys who look like the guys who are at Cape Ann on Sunday mornings, no offense. You know what I mean? Like just hacking it up kind of. Not
Yeah,
not
and
much like
listen,
physically exciting
they're still
happening.
really good at golf, but yeah,
Sure.
exactly. There's no explosiveness.
Exactly.
Um,
Nothing flashy is really happening. It's
yeah,
you're at the more crafty, creative uh term of your career, dare I
yeah.
say. I know
John
you like to use that
ILOS.
term. I would never say that. I would never put him in that category. You said it, not me.
He is crafty. All right. You got anything else for the viewers? That kind of
Uh
wraps up my thoughts this week. I hope
no.
we'll get back on pretty soon here.
Are you fired up for are you gonna be able to tune into the NBA finals?
I will. So
You'll be able to watch tomorrow because you're off.
I'm off
And
until
then
Sunday and I'm on day shift until the following Sunday. So
So you'll get a good
I'll
chunk
be
of the
able to watch
series
a
then,
good
hopefully.
chunk of the series. Whether I am, at work, we'll probably have it on one of the screens.
Yeah.
Do you know what channel it's on by any chance? Is it on
Probably
TNT?
TNT, or maybe ESPN. I would have to look. I don't know for
That's
sure.
the tough part, is we only get a few channels, and I don't think we get TNT or ESPN. So I might
Okay.
have to do the old Google Gamecast and see if
You
I
may,
can
you
get
may,
it
and just make
that
sure that
way.
Al's chucking his corner threes. Your boy. Let's get him a ring.
Yes.
He
Al
deserves one.
needs a ring. My Twitter bio is Nadal, Horford, Spieth. Spieth has been bad lately. Like
Your
he might be
boys.
falling off. He might be falling off the third place pedestal. I might have to get like another tennis guy in there potentially. The French Open's going on right now, so I've been watching that every morning. It's great
Nice.
time here. I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning. The women's quarterfinal was on Sabalenka versus Andreeva. Andreeva, young Russian, I think 17 years old, took down
Yep.
Sabalenka,
Oh,
which was pretty exciting. And then followed that up with Zverev versus Alex de Minaur, aka Demon. All that though, Drew, prior to like 10 o'clock in the morning. Pretty good wake up. Had a bagel for breakfast. Didn't have any espresso this morning. But yeah, easy mornings here in Hawaii while I'm off.
nothing wrong with that.
Well, we'll end it with
I'm
the
back
quote of the
now.
week, I think.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. We'll end it with the quote of the week since Drew's cutting out on his Wi-Fi currently. This one comes from The Guardian, one of my favorite movies. Coast Guard, Kevin Costner, Ashton Kutcher. But this comes from the old lady bartender. I forget her name in the movie. And she says, "Getting old ain't bad, Ben. Getting old, that's earned." And with that, TBBLC out. Pat from last year. Play us off.
What's for lunch? TBBLC.
Stay in your seat.
What's for lunch today? Sausage. Brown bag, brown bag.
The Brown Bag Lunch Crew.